So where to begin? The first question I have, and from the moment, Garrett's one of those personalities, and thank you for all the kind words, Garret. But Garret,
I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it.
That's true. I know that. Choked up a bit when you said that. I was unexpected. One thing about Garret is, you ever notice people in your life, when they come into it, it doesn't stay the same. In some way, it could be just one time. But we all have these moments in our life where someone entered it and it was never the same again. Some of us would say it's our spouse, or if we leave spouses and partners and even best friends over here, I'm talking about people that you just meet. And there's just something about that person that changed your life forever. Garrett's one of those people. Jim Burns, one of those people. Justin Nahama is one of those people. Derek's one of those people. Shiv's one of those people. Like, I look around this, like my life, Willie's becoming one of these people. We met 3 months ago, so becoming. Derek Herrera is one of those people. Like these people, Kevin Seif, all these folks that are here, my life will never be the same as a result of them. So thank you, and thank you to everyone that's in the room. And that leads into this question. Garret, you are one of those people.
Thank you.
So when you walk into people's lives, what is the one thing that you hope they walk away feeling?
If you don't feel this from me being around you and me spending time with you, my total existence is a lie. I talk about the breath in my lungs because really, like, not only in training, but I had some moments in my life, very short ones, and you'll never read a book about my storied war campaign because I didn't have one. I had a few really difficult moments in the military, but there's some guys in here that'll tell stories that'll blow your mind. I'm not one of them. But I had some moments in the military where I thought my life was going to be over, where I thought I was taking my last breath. And when I took another one after that, I realized that the only reason I was still breathing is because there was something I'm supposed to do on this earth, that there's a purpose that I have. And so what I know is that my purpose has nothing to do with me. So if you, like, two totally different ways of living here. Like if you want to live a miserable life, like truly, if you want to live a miserable life, make everything in your life all about you. If you want to live like you'll have no friends, you'll find no one that comes to help you move, you'll make calls and people don't have time for you. But if you make your life all about other people, if you attach yourself to something that's bigger than you, you'll have more friends than you ever know. You'll have more love than you can hold. Like, it is the two totally different ways of living. And I don't mean this in like I have some masterful discernment, but when I spend time with people, I think it's very evident if their life is about them or if their life is about other people. So to answer that question, I think in a roundabout way, like if you spend time with me and you feel selfishness from me, if you feel, and that's a massive thing to live up to. And I don't think that I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I don't take care of myself, but I know that my life is not about me.
Well done. So I'm opening this up to the audience.
I love Q&A. Sorry for my intensity. That's just where I go.
I don't know. I didn't really feel any of that.
I'm done now. I really enjoy Q&A. Please ask me your questions.
And by the way, he's quite joyful. He flipped the switch. He's quite joyful. He's always smiling. True story. But let's get some questions. Yes.
Thank you. Wonderful share. I'm curious from the fearless part, or like that last thing you said around being fearless. That's a tricky one for me. Been reading 50 Cent's book, tricky law.
What's hard about fear to you?
I guess my question for you is like, is there a use of fear? Like, if I channel fear to the energy that drives me, like that's kind of where I've evolved to, is using fear to be energy.
So we're gonna do something really quick. Joe, I hope you don't mind.
I just work here.
I'll put this away in a second. I'm just gonna make a quick illustration for you. This is probably awful on camera, I'm sorry. Joe probably knows what I'm drawing and he can't even see it.
Do you want me to hold it? Oh yeah, this is good.
Raise your hand if you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right, everyone's heard of it. Okay? Does anyone know what the first two categories are?
Dependencies or like?
Yep, you got it. Your basic, so down here at the bottom, these are just the first two are your basic needs, like thinking about the next day to being able to feed your family. Then you have love, then you have self-esteem. Just like if you're starving, like my Uber driver a couple days ago, truly this guy working in Mexico hadn't eaten in a day and a half, and he was telling me his story of that and how he's fighting through that. And all he could think about, like as he was telling me as I'm driving, all I can think about, like every gas station to him was a temptation to pull over and spend money to feed himself because he's sending all his money back to Mexico, right? So when you need this, it's all you can think about. We've met those people who are searching for love. They got a lot of other things in their life figured out, and then this is all that they want. And then self-esteem. I know a lot of people that are stuck in this category. They're consistently searching for, like, please, someone make me feel valued. This answers your fear question. What's really cool about the first 4 levels is that once you get them, you don't want them anymore, right? Like once you're once you're fed, you're no longer hungry. Once you feel loved, you're no longer searching for love. Who knows what the top category is? Self-actualization, right? Also known as purpose, a higher calling. What's really cool, like I was just sharing this with Joe the other day. I read through his theory. I didn't read his book, but I read his original theory paper, and he talks about it in there, but I've never heard anyone share this before. Each of the first 4 levels, once you get them, you're not searching for them anymore. But up here, self-actualization, purpose, once you get this, and we've met those people, and these are founders, right? When they attach their life to something that's bigger than themselves, and they start to taste it, they develop more hunger, and they want more and more and more of it. I could break down fear with you and what it's doing for you, but let me just give you this as an example to say that it won't get you very far. Like I know people, like the saying, breakups make bodybuilders, right? Like people get hurt by something, or people are driven by something like fear, and that'll push you for a while, but it won't push you to here, and you'll stop right here. You'll get stuck in this vortex of self-esteem. You'll start making your life about you, and you won't achieve what you're truly capable of. Your life will be painful, and the fear that you once had, you'll self-sabotage and go back there because it's the only fuel that you've ever known. The only infinite source of energy is attaching your life to purpose. So don't try and use fear to take you where you want to go.
Don't just put that away. We might, don't put it too far away. Other questions, ideas, thoughts, comments, critiques?
I was holding my tongue earlier because I knew I'd get a chance to sit here, but a lot of the questions that people asked before lunch, I had a thought on. So though I'm not like a VC founder, I do work with a lot of businesses. I do real estate development. I have a coaching and consulting business. I also lead a men's ministry. I do a lot of different things with a lot of different groups of people. It's really my favorite thing. It was my favorite thing in the military, getting to walk from uniform to pretending to be someone else to going back home and doing all these different things. I actually enjoy some of the chameleon-ness, and I love all the different audiences. My heaven on earth truly is sitting with a bunch of brilliant people and having a conversation. So whatever questions you got, I'm looking forward to it.
Hold on, Aurora and then Kevin.
I just have a comment, actually. Thank you, and thank you for your vulnerability as someone, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
As someone who is constantly told to tone it down and rein in my intensity, thank you for being authentic and genuine. And also, there is no higher purpose than life service.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah. That was nice, kind of you. Kevin.
So other than the easy button answer, obviously you've already expressed your gratitude towards Joe Musselman and the Honor Foundation. What was your aha moment as you were transitioning from one phase of life to the next?
You guys mind if I use the board again?
That's why I said don't put it away.
This would be an easier way of saying it, so. And this will spark probably some other questions, so it's fun. Actually, hold on.
That is a dry erase marker, right? Oh.
Nope.
That's okay. Just keep,
Who put this here?
I don't know, needs to not be there.
I'll go back to the other side. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll fix it. Yeah.
I used an expo the first time.
Yeah.
So what I heard your question was, what was my life lesson in transition? Right? Did I hear your question?
What was your aha moment that was like, okay, I had this amazing career, did the things I wanted to do. Now that that's over, this is now my new purpose to continue forward.
Okay, I'm going to put a note here for this because someone else might ask me, and I'll answer that question. What was my aha moment for finding a new purpose after the SEAL teams? It's really like so many guys struggle with that, right? Transitioning out of SOF. Like, I'm committed to this country, right? I'm willing to die for something that I believe in. I'm willing to die for freedom. That's a huge purpose. And then you get out of that and you think, what else could I do in this world that's as significant? There's a great quote, a guy named David Viscott. I was telling Joe about this guy the other day. You've probably never heard of him. David Viscott is this guy, when I read his stuff, I just think like, this dude is from another planet. Anyways, David Viscott says, the meaning of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it, and the purpose of life is to give it away. When I say God has a plan for your life, that you have a purpose, most people have no idea what that is, right? Viktor Frankl talks about in his book, most people are asking life, what is the meaning of life? Viktor Frankl says, it's the other way around. Life is asking you, what do you say the meaning of life is, right? So I took that, I received that, and I think that way, and I look at my life as just this one giant, grand, and beautiful test. What do I want to do, and what can I create? And when you don't know what mission it is that you want to attach yourself to, then you need to develop yourself, right? The gift that you have to give the world is you. So if you don't know what product that you want to create, if you don't know what people you want to serve, if you don't know what problem you want to solve, then what you need to start doing is work on you, develop you. And I want to use that to come back to this real quick. Got the right marker this time. This is time, and this is level of effort. Most people quit at a point. I saw this in SEAL training. There were so many guys that would say, like, they want it more than anything. And like, truly, like, they believe that they want it. But they get to a point where they think, I've given this level of effort, which means that I should receive the results, right? They've preconceived a certain level of effort equals a certain level of result. And there's two types of people that face that decision. They say, well, the level of efforts that I preconceived did not receive the results, so I guess this isn't for me, or I guess I was wrong. And there's the other type of people that say, well, I must have miscalculated the level of effort, so I'll just keep going. And they'll reach the same decision point again, and they'll say, I must have miscalculated the level of effort, I'll just keep trying. And so really what I discovered is like all the things that I've wanted to accomplish, I can talk about the ways that SEAL training was easier. I can talk about all the ways that it was harder. I can talk about my own journey of like, and this is not like, I'm not trying to give props to me right now. Didn't go to school or got out of college and where everyone else, and I'm not, this is not comparison. I'm telling you, like, again, I saw the same thing. People are saying you got to do it this way. This is what's possible. And I saw something else. I wanted to do real estate development. Most people think, get an MBA, go work for somebody for 10 years. I'm finishing my first development doing $60 million in construction, right? Like, that's not most people's first job. But to get there, I just kept going. Like, I got to this point where it's like, I should be there. Well, I'm not there, but I'm just gonna keep pushing. So what I would tell you is the characteristic of perseverance, just continuing to endure, is one of the most valuable things that I learned in the SEAL teams that I didn't realize would be the most valuable key to my success as a civilian. Just keep pushing. Like, oh, I'm not there yet? Well, I'll just keep swimming. I'll just keep running. Be a freaking Forrest Gump.
I've got a question. Couple thoughts. First, I think everybody just really wants to know more about your story, and thank you so much. Second, I love that you're lefty, props. Third, I would love to hear what your day looks like. You're talking about squeezing the lemon, and clearly you are very intense. You're probably incredibly busy. How do you prioritize, and what is your let's say normal or probably not normal day look like? I know Joe wakes up at 4. Maybe you wake up at 3:30. I don't know.
Well, he will now.
No, Joe didn't. I was only up about 15 minutes before Joe. He told me his alarm was going to go off at 4, and I was standing there looking at my watch.
He was.
It went to 4, and I'm like, did he not set? I was waiting to. Did he not set his alarm? Because it didn't go off. I could see it vibrating on him, but it wasn't until almost 4:01.
Not kidding. I woke up and he was standing there looking at his watch.
There's a thing.
And it was 4:01.
Down at you. Yeah.
There's a thing that I've shared with Joe. Basically, as soon as he opened his eyes, I go, Joe, like I was waiting on Joe. And he's like, yeah.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
That's right. Yep.
Something I start every single day with is this thought process. It comes from a really cool story. You can find his museum in the Florida Keys. His name's Mel Fisher. Mel Fisher, for 18 years, Mel Fisher discovered the greatest gold treasure in all of history. Mel Fisher, for 18 years, took his crew out searching for the treasure, and he would turn to his crew every day, and he had a sign over where the ship captain sits. He had a sign that said, "Today's the day," and he would tell his staff every day, "Today's the day." It took him 18 years. He lost a child, his child's spouse, and a grandchild in that process. It's an incredible story. Don't have the time to tell it. I start every day by telling myself, today's the day. And on the people that I coach personally, I help them develop this thought process of today matters. Because it's really easy to say okay, well, I can do this stuff tomorrow, to push things off. And the squeeze the lemon thought process translates to productivity through this belief of today matters. The most significant thing I can do is start. Whatever my next task is, today matters. Something that I do, kind of a ritual for me, I have a deep freeze that I hacked and converted into it keeps water at 40 degrees for me. And I get in there every single morning, first thing in the morning. And what I'm doing in there, the reason I'm in there, is most people in this world and it's not the people in this room, but most people in this world spend their time pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain, right? Pain and fear are very similar, and people put pain and fear, they allow that to keep them from everything they're supposed to accomplish in this world. So I start my day with the one thing that I can do every day that's as painful as I can possibly do without actually damaging myself. I value my health. I don't want to hurt myself anymore. I did things in the SEAL teams that hurt myself to be mentally strong. Sitting in 40-degree water is the one thing that I can do every day that's extremely painful, that won't break my body. So I start my day by saying, today's the day. Something significant is going to happen today. Today matters. And then I sit in my ice bath, and while I'm in there, this is what my mantra is, what I'm saying to myself. Today's the day I choose purpose over pain. Today's the day I choose purpose over pain. I'll say that for 10 minutes. I'm just talking to myself. And on self-talk, real quick, if you guys don't mind, I just want to share this. Really interesting, and this isn't even a religious matter. Temptation is something that all people struggle with, right? Well, it's a temptation to sit on the couch when you should be doing something else, right? Not even talking about a sin issue. There's a difference between temptation and desire. Temptation is the presentation of something. Desire means you start wanting it. And you have to be very, very careful what you want in this world, right? There's something that I do with my wife to protect her and protect our relationship, where I won't even have, I won't sit down in a one-on-one with another woman because I want to protect my relationship with my wife. I don't want her to ever even feel like I could be accused of being with another woman, right? So talking about that presentation of temptation versus desire with another woman. And again, if this type of conversation bothers you guys, just understand these are some things that Garret talks about often, so just don't let my world offend you. Temptation versus desire, talking about with another woman, we could have those thoughts about another woman or a woman that's not my wife. The difference is temptation is the opportunity. Desire is, I want that. Desire is, it would be nice to indulge in that. It would be nice to relax for a little while. It sure would make me feel good to do some other things, right? And I say all of that to say the presentation between temptation and desire. I talk to myself a lot, and you just heard me refer to myself in the third person. I can be kind of a weirdo sometimes. When I get a temptation, I have this auto trigger, something that I know I shouldn't have. I say, I bet you'd like that, wouldn't you? And by doing that, I'm dividing the fact that there are two different ways of thinking within me. There's a part of me that wants pleasure, and there's a part of me that is going to pursue purpose. And when I say, I bet you'd like that, wouldn't you? Those two parts of me, they get separated. And I can easily divide, wait a second, yeah, there's a part of me that wants, all the good things that really aren't good, all the things for the moment, and there's a part of me that wants to live the greatest life possible. This guy's a moron, get rid of him, right? So by self-talk is actually from the Navy SEAL Big Four, which brings you back into your frontal lobe, which is actually I could talk about this stuff for a long time, so overrides amygdala hijack.
No, we're good.
Sorry.
It's okay. No,
you get me going on a thought.
That was a great response. So we are perfectly on time right now. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to finish early overall, but we're going to get through the last and final, and certainly not the least talk of the evening, which is Paul Shockley. But can we please give Garret a big round of applause?